Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email us Team Mosso at the1916company.com for purchase pricing and availability questions concerning this watch. Today we're discussing something that is extraordinarily rare and collectible from Debethune, launched in 2003. This is the DB12 Calendar Chronograph, a watch made in 31 copies spread over rose gold, as seen here, and white gold. Now, if you take the rose gold in isolation, there are only 17 examples of the rose gold watch in existence. This is from an era when Debethune production was measured in dozens per year, definitely not hundreds, and it was the early phase of the company's production when the much-loved and fairly conservative and classical DB1 case shape was still being employed with customer calibers, and we'll get into that in a moment. Also, this was the first ever Debethune watch to feature a display case back. So, a very special timepiece. 42 millimeters in diameter in rose gold. You can see 13.4 millimeters thickened from lug tip to lug tip, 45.8 millimeters with a 22 millimeter spacing between the lugs. It's very easy to wear. It almost wears like a lugless case. If it's 42 in diameter but only 45.8 across the wrist, it almost wears perfectly round. And you can see on my 16 centimeter circumference wrist, it wears well. So I would say even if your wrist is 15 centimeters in circumference, you're still going to be able to wear this pretty well. It's short across the wrist. The strap is a contemporary Debethune OEM strap. We use Jean Rousseau as the OEM supplier, and so that is who makes this. Very high-end, high quality. It's the same OEM supplier that Journe uses. We have large and medium rectangular scale alligator leather in semi-gloss black. We've got on the edge a sheer cut profile that's lacquered black for refinement, a monotone stitch. On the bottom, round scale alligator leather. The idea behind using gator top and bottom is that it is a more durable, longer lasting strap. It costs more, a few $100, but it's worth it. At Debethune, buckles generally echo the design of the case, and here you can see that we have a very conservative traditional case and a very conservative minimal buckle and profile. You can see back then, Debethune was not making its own cases, so there are maker's marks from the case fabricators and the buckle fabricators here. And it's fascinating because it represents the evolution of the brand. Here we are with the original case shape, the first display case back, and cases made by high-end suppliers for the brand. So this is sort of like brass movement FP Journe, if you can think of it that way, or the Daniel Roth watches actually made from 1989 to 94 when he was running the company. These are foundational pieces. The case is simple. You can see the lugs have a very, very subtle step out from the case band. It's almost like a soft crease. It's not Langa style. They're very short, tapered. They feature these ogival or bullet tip lug profiles that were introduced in 2002 on the very first Debethune watch, the DB1 Chronograph. In classical fashion, we have an unbranded crown because Denis Flageolet, founder and chief creative officer at Debethune to this day, head of watchmaking, and the man who actually creates these watches in each case, he assigns the design codes. And so a classical watch, think pocket watches, early wristwatches, would not have had a branded crown. We also have a little pusher right here that's used to index the month display. On the dial, very, very classical. We have silver. We have two countersunk registers with an azurage. We have a sort of dental pattern outboard of a vogue center or wave. So genuine reductive guilloche, not stamped. And the dial is beautiful with a lovely bilateral symmetry. You can split it side to side and it will be symmetrical. You can also see we have fired hands at center as well as on the registers. And the watch features what's known as a big date or a grande date. A watch that I will mention features outstanding column wheel chronograph pusher feel. So the module is Debethune's, but the base movement is a highly modified and decorated Venus 175. So you can see the obvious architecture of the Venus, which is fairly big for its era, being a legacy movement from the 20th century. 31.58 millimeters in diameter is quite respectable, and it nicely matches this 42 millimeter case size. Now, manual wind, 2.5 hertz beat rate, 25 joules. It's got an overcoil hairspring and a swan Swan's neck fine adjustment mechanism, and it is column wheel and lateral clutch. You can see the column wheel and the lateral clutch in action. Very crisp, very positive. Debethune did all the adjustment and the decoration on this, so they truly made it theirs in many important respects, and that's before you even add their complication module. Of course, this is instantaneous jumping minutes. You're about to see that because we have a very slow beat rate, 18,000, and a long chronograph seconds hand. You can really see each jump quite distinctly. There's the jump of the minute. Flip it back. So Debethune describes the power reserve of this watch as 30 hours, whereas a Venus 175, I know it's going to be more like 45 hours. So I think it's a typo in their records. I do think the power reserve here is closer to 45 than to 30. I don't believe adding a relatively simple calendar is going to cut power reserve by a third, but just keep that in mind. Now, the water resistance was 30 meters back in the day, although today you have to understand that this kind of watch, given its age now, over 20 years old, it's not the kind of thing you want to submerge. Being a dress watch, that kind of goes double. The decoration is world-class, so let's start from the bottom and work our way up. The base plate has been beautifully engine-turned, and if you look carefully, you can see that the bridge for the anchor has also been engine turned. We have Côte de Genève across the bridges up top, and then mirrored beveling of the highest, broadest, and most hand-laid variety. We then have a number of fire-blued screws, and you can see there's some places where locating pegs are used to locate underlying structures, such as that bridge for the anchor. You can see those locating pegs have been polished on their top. You can get a really good view of the anglage here, not just on the bridges, but look at the steel components of the chronograph. See how those have all been beveled on their sides and they've been satinated on their tops with a similar satin finish applied to the wheels of the train and the chronograph system, and it is beautiful. You can see it's not totally flawless. Over the years, there are some scratches on the movement, so full disclosure, this is a vintage watch. You can see the jumper spring and the jumper for the minute counter, and then this beautiful bridge that Debethune has finished with some relatively shallow but present interior angles. Mirror finished Swan's neck fine adjustment mechanism, deeply appreciated. And a watch that has a lot of substance and historical value. So reach out to Team Mosso at the1916company.com for purchase and pricing details of what can only be described as an investment-grade early and milestone Debethune model.